Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video. And in today's video I'm going to be predicting the Stevenson versus Los Santos fight. If you are new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like video if you do indeed like video, and let's get straight into it. So going into this fight, Stevenson is 20-0 with 10 KOs and Los Santos is 16-1 with 14 KOs. This fight is for the vacant WBC World Lightweight title. Stevenson's last fight was a win via TKO in round 6 versus Yoshida, and Los Santos' last fight was a win via unanimous decision versus Adorno. This is in Stevenson's home country of America. They are both southpaws. Los Santos' loss came via split decision versus Foster back in 2022. And speak a bit more about what I'm saying. Of course, Stevenson now getting this world title fight at the lightweight division that he very much so deserves, and of course it's not against maybe the ideal opponent that everybody was expecting, but it's still against a highly ranked opponent who, to be honest, is worthwhile of a title shot to an extent as well. And so it's still going to be a very tough fight for Stevenson, and of course Los Santos is going to be able to raise his profile and raise his stock a lot if he manages to get a victory here. And so it's one of them fights where there's a lot of pressure on one person and the other person can come in with that underdog mentality and try and prove why they're worthwhile and that why they shouldn't be overlooked. Stevenson's last fight was a very good performance. It was a shutout victory against Yoshida, one which in the past, or in maybe even if he wanted to, he could have easily just cruised through and gotten a victory via decision. But the fact that he kind of made the necessary risks and was very, very sharp and was just very clean and accurate and just everything that you want to see in a fight. Stevenson is so well rounded, and he really showed that in that last fight. And like I mentioned, in a fight which possibly he could have been overlooking as well and thinking like, oh, this opponent's too less for me and I'm levels and I can cruise through this. And like I said, he could have got a decision victory, but the fact that he made them necessary risks and still came out on top, and came out on top with an even better performance and a stoppage victory, when as of recent people have been talking about that power, it really silenced a lot of people and it proved a point in that fight. And so it's a great performance. Los Santos' last fight was also a very good performance. As of recent, he's been developing very well from the defeat and has been progressing very well and is now pretty much a new fighter. And he showed things which he didn't really show in other fights in that last fight, and defensively was solid. Of course, they're both being southpaws. It's going to be interesting to see how both of them react to that kind of aspect. Also on this card is Navarrete versus Conceição for the WBO World Super Featherweight title, in which I think Navarrete will win via unanimous decision. I rate Conceição, and I know he's tough and game, and I don't think that Navarrete is going to be able to get the stoppage. It wouldn't surprise me if it ends up being a good fight, this fight, to be completely honest. I mean, the last time that Navarrete fought a fight that maybe was against an opponent which was one which it wasn't a huge fight was against Wilson, and it was a really tough night for Navarrete, and it made for a great fight. And so, not saying that this will be, but he's shown in the past that it really does kind of come down to his mindset going into fights, Navarrete, and what kind of Navarrete we see. Obviously his last fight was a great performance against Valdez, and that was maybe a bigger fight on paper. So I think this could be a making for an interesting fight, and this might be Conceição if he loses his last opportunity. Well, if he wins, then obviously it's different, but this could be his last opportunity for a world title shot. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Going back to the main event, so Stevenson as a fighter, I mean, he's very technical, he's got high IQ, he's got momentum with him now, he controls the range, he'll make you miss, he changes levels, he breaks you apart, he's very fast, accurate, makes adjustments, he can fight in close or at range, he can fight front foot or back foot, he will outbox you, he's very disciplined, he controls the tempo, he's very sharp, he's got very good defensive movement, and he's very aware as well. I mean, such a well-rounded fighter he is. He's one of my favourites to watch at the moment, and I think the only thing that's keeping him away from the pound-for-pound rankings at the moment is just the fact that nobody really wants to fight him. But now he's going to be getting this world title. If he wins, then he's definitely going to open up more opportunities and hopefully bigger fights for him as a result of this. So this fight is a very important fight for him. The fact that he is just so all-rounded, there's not really many negative things I can say about him. and it's just so nice to see a defensive fighter who can also attack just as well, and it's just been improving so much with every fight. And like I mentioned, the fact that his awareness is just so amazing. The fact that even when he does get pushed back, and even if he gets hit with the occasional shot, he just always looks like he knows what's going on and knows that he's in control and just knows how to work his way out of any possible bad position that he's ever in. And yeah, it's such an amazing fighter, and his attack is improving very much so as well. Possible negatives that I could say about him: of course, he has all the pressure for this. Obviously, he's used to that to an extent now, but he may be overlooking in the process with this fight because of other big fights possibly supposedly supposed to happen instead of this fight. That lack of power is still there to an extent. Like, I wouldn't say he's as powerful as Los Santos, but he still has that power, of course. He can be hit when he's on the inside. He can sometimes get pushed back against a bigger guy, and if the bigger guy is wanting to come in and get him close range, he can get hit. He's been hurt to the body. He's admitted that before, that he's been hurt to the body. So there's definitely weaknesses to an extent there. It's just he's very good at hiding that, I suppose. And I think it was the Valdez fight where he admitted that he got hurt to the body. He sometimes is a bit less aggressive than maybe he should be, and sometimes doesn't take them necessary attacking risks. But like I mentioned, he did that so well in his last fight against Yoshida. It was so nice to see, and was refreshing off performances in the past where possibly he kind of cruised for a slight bit, like the Conceição one a little bit. Pressure, like I mentioned, is all on him. Speak about Los Santos now. So he's fast, he's got good timing, he'll set traps. He's been improving, like I mentioned, very much so, and from the defeater, he's a new fighter now. He can fight on the back foot or the front foot as well. He's got good timing, good shot variation, solid combinations. He's aggressive, he's hard hitting, he'll punch through the guard, he's explosive, he's got a snapping jab, he finds the chin very well, he counters well, he's confident, he'll give his all, and his defense is improving in the process as well. When he fought Valenzuela, that was an interesting fight because it was one which he did show weaknesses and showed too much aggression, but he also proved that his attack is just very high level and he can get a lot of fighters out with that power. And that was his first kind of major fight which I've seen against a top level fighter, where he was very much just being aggressive and just proving that he's aggressive and proving his power and proving he can get you out of there. But maybe he wasn't the most defensively solid, and he got caught and he got dropped himself. He got caught with a counter and he was coming in a bit off balance. But from his last performance since then, he's now looked a lot more defensively solid and he's improved on that aspect, and that's so nice to see. It's so refreshing to see a fighter really go and study. He must have watched his tape and study what was wrong with it, and then make the necessary adjustments and improvements to then come into his last fight. And so there's definitely going to be improvements there, and I'm sure with this fight he's going to come in and possibly even show a bit of something different to what we're used to from him again. And so yeah, he's definitely gonna have try and make problems for Stevenson. It's going to be interesting to see if he's going to try and go on the front foot and push the tempo, or go on the back foot. I'd probably like to see with his power him going on the front foot and really trying to be explosive and just throwing all his shots and trying to see if he can overwhelm Stevenson to an extent. But obviously there's so many things that Stevenson can do defensively wise as well. It's going to be very difficult. Negatives about Los Santos: his head movement, sometimes not got loads of it. He may come in off balance when he kind of comes into range, and that's sometimes been shown in fights. He sometimes will take one to give one, and that's not always the best of mindsets. He does get tired a bit. That seemed like it was his problem against Foster when he fought him, but obviously, like I mentioned, he's different since then, and he's improved on that aspect since then. And in his last fight, he showed that he could go all the rounds comfortably. He has been hurt, like I mentioned. He can come in a bit too aggressive at times as well. He will sometimes leave himself open, being that kind of defensively lazy at times. He sometimes takes the unnecessary risks, but sometimes unnecessary as well. His reactions can sometimes not be amazing, but overall it's going to be an interesting fight. It's going to be a tough one for both fighters, and Los Santos can definitely prove and show problems for Stevenson. Stevenson is the favourite for this fight, and I think that Stevenson will win via TKO in round 10. If I'm being completely honest, I think I'm expecting Los Santos to come in on the front foot and try and push Stevenson back, which I don't hate. But come the later rounds, if Stevenson's surviving that, which I feel like he will be expecting and might be able to survive it, then he'll be able to work off of that and then just be able to counter him and just move. And I don't really see many fighters being able to kind of beat Stevenson at the moment, bar the very best. And even that will be, they're all close fights as well. So I mean, as long as Stevenson's mindset's in the right place, and I think in these type of fights that's the main factor, you need to be in the right place, then I think Stevenson can win by a late stoppage again and hopefully prove that he's got that manpower coming through. And this would be a big stoppage against Los Santos. Then who could he go on to fight? I mean, hopefully big fights now and only the biggest. So Cruz versus Davis is a talked about fight and might be happening soon. So that the winner of that would be a huge fight. Lomachenko, he's not got enough fighter at the moment. That could be a huge fight. Martin, that was supposed to happen. I can't really remember what happened and the reason why that didn't happen, but that could definitely happen. Or Zepeda is another big fight that could happen. Obviously, it's Top Rank and Golden Boy working together. That would be, so I don't know if that would happen, but rankings wise and everything like that, that realistically should happen. But yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy. Like if you did, need like, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.